Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Really excited to show you this piano and the presets that I've created for it. It's Model D by VI Labs. Sorry, it's Modern D by VI Labs. I'm just going to have to change those preset names. But anyway, I've just recently added it to the complete piano software presets. So if you bought the bundle in the past, you'll get this for free. Just like anyone who buys the bundle, you'll get all the additional pianos that I add to this product for free, or you can obviously just grab the presets just for this plugin, but you can also just grab the individual presets for this plugin if you don't want the whole bundle. Okay, so I was recommended this plugin by a few of my customers that really liked it, so grabbed it and I'm actually really loving it. It's a Model D sample from VI Labs. It's probably going to be my go-to Steinway piano, actually. I love what they've done with the sampling, all the different mic options. They've phase aligned and time aligned all the microphones. It means you can stack a bunch of different mic perspectives all together and it just sounds really tight, and there's not any weird phasing or the delay that you get from having a close mic and a far away mic. Kind of mixed together because they've time-aligned it as well, which is why you can see I've got 3 mics in here. I prefer like a close mic sound and then adding reverb to that, just so it cuts through the mix. It's not giving a washy ambient piano, but if you want, you can obviously change up the mics and get the room mics in there, that kind of thing. You've probably seen this if you've seen the walkthrough video before, but I'll just quickly go over it. You get a couple of my go-to impulse responses. One of those is an impulse response of the Hillsong Studio. That's in there. You get the main stage template, which comes empty, and then you just drag in the patches that you want to use with it, because there's quite a lot of patches. That's why I've set it up like that. You've got native and pro patches for both main stage and Logic. The pro ones just require a couple of plugins. If you do have these plugins, you can use these. This one's for free. This filter just adds saturation, and it's a nice kind of low pass filter you can use with it. And then the Waves ones, it's a single purchase, but you get a few different compressors with it. And that's what I'm using to compress it. So if you do own those plugins, you can use these pro versions for Logic and Mainstage. If not, there's native versions and they sound great as well. So a few different options there, lots of presets in there. You've got a sample of my Prophet 5 analog keyboard. That's my go-to pad that I like to partner with my pianos. That's in there as well. And then if you want, there's presets for just the Model D, whether you want to use it inside Mainstage or on a Mac or a different platform. You'll be able to use these just with the plugin. So that just gives you some options. You don't have to use it inside Mainstage, although the compression and EQ and the pads and impulse responses are all coming from Mainstage. So, but anyway, there's just a few options of ways to use it. Okay, before we get onto audio examples, just make this really quick. Just a few little housekeeping things you might want to be aware of. When you open the plugin, you'll notice that I've got half pedaling on. If you have a variable sustain pedal like I do, that's really handy to have on. But if you don't, if you just have an on-off switch style sustain pedal, just turn that off because you don't need the extra resources for that. The same is for pedal noise. I've got a variable pedal, but if you just have a fixed one, you can do that. CPU, I've got an M1 Mac, so it's not the latest Mac. I haven't noticed any problems with having polyphony on full, but you can turn it up or down depending on your CPU usage. Same principle applies for the sympathetic resonance. You can up the polyphony to 40. If you want, but it's going to put a little bit more strain on your computer. So just a few kind of housekeeping things to be aware of. Every computer is different, so I just thought I'd make you aware of that. Just one other thing really quickly too. I have got a little bit of the reverb in here. I've only got it at like 5%. I prefer to have a nice clean sound and then add reverbs inside Mainstage, but you can play around with that and have it a little bit wetter. If you want a more kind of reverby sound, because you'll notice that these mic perspectives are all pretty close, close hammers, close player. So if you do want a little bit of extra kind of room, you can just experiment turning that up. Okay, so let's jump into audio examples. These are the pro versions, but I can give you a quick example of the native versions towards the end. And if you do want an explanation on the layout and how this all functions, I've done that in the original walkthrough video. This is just kind of an add-on walkthrough for this specific piano. Okay, here we go. Okay, just a quick walkthrough of those piano presets. You can hear some are bright, some are more intimate, some are completely wet. The ambient version is pretty much completely reverb only, and you can get like a nice shimmer sound out of that. I'll just quickly show you that again. Go back to that, just play a few notes just over and over again. You'll get like a shimmer pad out of it. So here we go. So you can blend as much or as little of that dry piano into the reverb. But it's nice having that option to have it completely wet and ambient if you want to. I'll go back to the default one again and just quickly show you, just moving sliders and knobs around in real time, showing you kind of how you can morph between one sound and go to a completely different sound or vibe just by tweaking a few little controls. So here we go. So there you go. Hopefully it shows you the versatility of what you can do in real time. Adding reverb, adding more room reverb to it as well, adding the warm pad in. Got control over volume and how bright or mellow that pad is too. So that's basically the overview of what it does and what it sounds like. I'll quickly drag some of the other presets in here, which are the native ones, so you can hear how they compare to the Pro. I don't want you to think you have to go out and buy extra plugins like these wave plugins to get a great sound. Okay, so these are the native versions, so I'll just quickly go through and show you these audio examples. So there we go. That's just a quick walkthrough of the native versions for this product. As you can hear, they sound great. You don't have to go out and spend any additional money on waves compressors or anything else. All the reverbs you're hearing inside main stage, the pad, everything else comes with the product. You don't have to go and buy additional pads and reverbs, etc., to get the same sound. So yeah, and you can just grab just the Model D if you're not worried about the other pianos in the collection as well. Just before we go, I'll just mention this one little kind of tricks and tip thing that might help you. If you're doing this compressed sound and you want an even bigger compressed sound, the little trick here, open the gain plugin here and increase the gain here rather than trying to adjust the compressor settings for both of these. If you just increase the gain here, it'll hit the compressors a little harder and give you more compression. So I'll just show you that if you want a really, really compressed sound, just do that for any of these presets. As you can hear, increasing the gain there just hits the compressors really hard. You get that kind of rock compressed sound. Works great for octave lines if you're doing maybe a young and free song, something that requires really punchy kind of octave melody or riff lines. You could do that. Just increase the gain a bit more and have it really, really smash in the face. There's one other thing that I want to show you before I go. I'll just go back to the default settings so it hasn't got any adjusted gain on it. There's this match EQ that I actually captured the EQ curve of one of my favorite plugins from, I can't remember the name of the company, but it's called Tiltration, I think. Anyway, it's a great kind of tonal shaping tool. And you can muck around with this. I've left it with a setting that I like, but you can always muck around with it, make the piano more mellow, more smiley faced EQ. Really simple, one control. So I'll start it in a neutral position with the default setting and just move it up and down and show you kind of the different tones you can get by just tweaking this match EQ preset that I've captured. So there you go, just another thing to play around with if you want to. Otherwise, just leave everything as default as I've set it up. And yeah, have fun with these. Can't wait to hear what you think about this piano and these presets. Like I've said, I think this is going to be my go-to Steinway D sample I use in church because I'm absolutely loving the quality of the samples. Yeah, everything about it is really good. CPU-wise, it's really easy on the CPU. I've been playing big chords with the sustain down, haven't been able to make it pop or click or anything. And like I said, I don't have the latest Mac. But if you do have an older Mac than me, you can tweak those few settings that I showed you at the beginning of this video. So hope that's really helped. If you do have any more questions, just reach out to the support team at support@multitracks.com and they can answer any of your questions. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Really appreciate your support.